Ashes are applied on our foreheads, mark the season of Lent. We are dust, and to the dust, and we shall return. It reminds us that we are fragile, sinful, and mortals. Therefore, we need to repent and believe in the gospel. St. Paul calls us not to waste the grace of God because now is the acceptable time, now is the day of salvation, that we see in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1 and 2. Escape from everyday business for a while, be less concerned about your task, make a little time for God and rest a while in Him, speak to God and say with your whole heart, I seek your face, O Lord, I desire. The words of St. Anselm in 1078 calls us to reflect more and more. Lenten season is asking us to give alms, pray and fast, but do it in secret. The Father who sees in secret will reward us. God will always reward us for the greater works that we do in the season of Lent. Job 42:6 says very clearly, Job was tested by God. Though he lost his possessions, wife, children, and so on, he cursed the day on which he was born, yet he was for God. Jonah chapter 3 verse 5, 6 and 10 says very clearly, the king of Nineveh took off his royal robes, covered with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust for the conversion of his people. Daniel chapter 9 verse 3 to 5, we see Daniel fasted. He turned to God in sacrifice, and more specially, he turned to God in sackcloth and dust. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 1 and 2 says very clearly, for the sins of the people, they all fasted and even wore sackcloth, and they applied dust on their bodies. Ezekiel chapter 27 verse 30, wherein we read, they will sprinkle dust on their heads and they will roll in ashes. 2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 19, we see Amnon had illegal relationship with Tamar, and thereby Tamar applied ashes on her head. Joshua chapter 7 verse 6, we will find Joshua tore all his clothes and applied ashes on his head because of the sins of his own people. And that is why we should always bear Jesus on our body. Jesus on me is the greatest thing that we should have during this season of Lent, that we read in Galatians chapter 6 verse 17. The Lent evolved into a period of 40 days, which we have the histories in Bible. Moses was on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights receiving instructions from God. Noah and his family were on the ark, waited for the rains to end for 40 days and 40 nights. Elijah walked 40 days and nights to the mountain of God, Horeb, that we see in 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 8. Jesus fasted for 40 days. Dear friends, do you fast? Give me proof of it by your works. If you see a poor man, take pity on him. If you see an enemy, reconcile with him. If your friend gains honor, envy him not. If a beautiful lady passes by, let her go. Let your hearts, let your senses not sin. That's what Saint John Chrysostom is asking us not to sin any way during this season of Lent. And therefore, this season of Lent is calling us to become holy because God the Father is holy. May this Lenten season bring us true faith that we come together to God and God alone.